Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. This is Mentor Select. Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Mentor Select serves parents who are raising teens. Every week, Derek interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. All while parenting them to be successful adults, focusing on social and emotional development, something that's left out of the classroom, but not in ours. Be sure to subscribe, share, and rate. This is Mentor Select, and this is your host, Derek Phillips.
All right, parents, you're in for a great treat today. We have Glenn Lundy, who is the owner of Glenn Lundy, LLC, and also the host of the popular Rise and Grind morning show. How are you, Glenn?
I'm doing well. How are you, my man?
I'm doing awesome. Glad you can join us today. Where are you joining us from?
Oh, the good old hidden utopia of Kentucky.
Utopia.
It is, man. It's beautiful out here. Mild temperatures, low cost of living, high wages.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great place to live.
Best kept secret.
It really is, man. It really is.
The secret's out now. So what city in Kentucky do you live?
Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I remember being in high school. I think we were in a track meet there for AAU. Yeah, definitely.
Right,
it's pretty. A lot of greenery for sure.
Yeah, definitely a lot of grass, no doubt.
Certainly. Well, Glenn, our audience is parents who are raising teenagers. And as we know, 2020 has been a trying year for all of us, especially teens, as they just had to deal a lot with COVID-19 and social injustice and just a lot of changes indeed. I guess we can jump right in, and I'm curious to know more about your show, Rise and Grind. Tell us about how that came about and just what's the focus of the show.
Yeah, man. So, I am a husband to one and a father to 7.
Whoa. All right.
And I'm also a 20-year automotive professional. And then I have my show, #Rise and Grind. And so I believe passionately that if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life. And so what I wanted to do was create a space online, because online is filled with, all the negativity, all the division, so on and so forth.
Right.
And so instead of just complaining that there wasn't anything positive, motivational, educational, or inspirational online, or I shouldn't say there wasn't any, but there wasn't enough. Instead of complaining about it, I decided I'm going to start going live every single day, Monday through Friday, with motivation, education, and inspiration. And the reason I chose 5:30 a.m., brother, is because I've got 7 kids. I was working at a dealership, and that was like the only time that I knew that I could for sure be there consistently every single day. Nothing's going to get in the way. There's no dinner dates at 5:30 a.m. There's no kids begging me to go do stuff at 5:30 a.m. So I started hitting on that time slot. January 6th of 2018 was the first episode. And now here we are. This morning was episode 652 of #Rise and Grind. Yes, sir.
Congratulations. That's a remarkable milestone. Wow.
Thank you, man.
That is cool. So, and you're right. With me being a new dad, I know that's the golden hour around at 4, 5, 6 a.m. That's where you could do a lot, accomplish a lot.
That's right. It's the only quiet space left as you get older, no doubt.
Exactly. And I'm sure you hear people maybe have one kid or maybe no kids at all come up with excuses like, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. But they're sleeping in till 9 a.m. You always make time. You just have to make some sacrifices. But yeah, that's great.
Actually, I'm glad you used that word, Derek, because I think a lot of people feel that way, right? They feel like they're going to have to sacrifice one thing in order to have another. And actually, you hear that a lot. You'll hear a lot of high-profile people or highly successful people. They'll talk about this sacrifice.
Right.
And I realized recently that it's not about sacrifice. See, sacrifice is such a negative term, right? Like you feel like I have to sacrifice time with my family in order to grow my business, or I have to
Lose something.
sacrifice. Yeah, you feel like you got to lose something. When in reality, if you switch that word from sacrifice to invest, everything changes.
Yeah.
So I invest more time in my mornings creating. It's not sacrificing sleep or anything like that. It's investing time into building something that impacts other people's lives, right? And so when you start to switch that word, people that work a lot, they're like, man, I'm sacrificing time with your family. No. You're investing time in building your business. And if that investment is really an investment that you're putting 110% into, then your family will grow and benefit from that. Now, if you are sacrificing time with your family and you're just sitting on your butt at work being lazy and you're not producing, now that's different. The family is not being rewarded, and that can cause division between you and your children and you and your spouse. But investments are something that everybody gains and wins from. So I like to shift certain words so that we think. It just changes how you feel about an action. A lot of parents feel guilty for working a lot, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't feel guilty for investing in their family's future, right? And so just wordplay. Words are so important. So important, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm big on reframing, just reframing a word and how it can change how you view it and just your reaction to it, changing from something negative to something positive. And now you're seeing, okay, what's the return on my investment? Yeah, I love that. I think that's a good place to shift in terms of parents who do feel guilty for making that investment by working so much. In addition to just reframing that word, what are some other ways that they can ensure that their family is receiving the return on investment, they're actually benefiting?
Once you change it to an investment, right, and you start to look at all the different aspects of your life as an investment, what I've learned as I'm able to balance 7 children, 2 businesses, my show, all of those things, is work-life balance. People are always seeking work-life balance, and they seek that in a sense of time. They think, well, okay, if I'm going to spend 40 hours at work, I need to spend 40 hours with my family. And that's not the reality. The reality is you must invest more time into your business and building a business in order for it to be fruitful. You don't have to invest as much time into your family. They already love you. You're going to spend decades with them, right? So your children want the full committed investment, not time-wise, but mentally, that you would give your work. That's what they want. They want that focused attention, right? So I know a lot of people in business that are like, man, I've never missed a day of work. I never call in sick. You know, I work 70 hours a week. I'm there from sun up to sundown. I'm the best employee you ever met in the world. And I'm like, okay, great. That's awesome. I love that you do that. How often do you tell your kids you're too tired when you get home? Well, yeah, I'm super tired. So hold on a minute. You'll tell your kids you're too tired, but you would never tell your boss you're too tired.
Right.
If your boss asks you to do something, you do. Your kids ask you to do something, now you're too tired. You don't feel good. Maybe tomorrow. You would never say those things to your boss. Yeah, boss, I'll get to that when I get to that. Maybe next week I'll get to that, right?
Yeah.
You would never do that.
Prioritization.
And so if people, as parents, it's important that we invest our attentions into our children the exact same way we would invest into any of our passions or our careers, of all of those things. So, for example, teenagers, you know, they got a million things they want to do anyway. They're not trying to spend 50 hours a week with you.
Right.
But if you can invest 20 minutes, if you can invest 20 minutes a day doing something that your teenager loves, talking to them about something your teenager's passionate about, put your phone away, put the email away, no distractions, just you and your teenager. You do that 20 minutes a day versus trying to create some big grandioso family vacation that never happens because you can't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just commit commit 20 minutes a day to each of your kids and watch how quickly your relationship blossoms when they see that you're willing to invest focused time in them every single day.
Yeah, I can certainly see how that return on investment will add up quickly.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Yeah, indeed. So something I hear from a lot of people that I interview is just the importance of spending that focused time, that individualized time if you have multiple kids. So for someone like yourself who have 7, is that something that you practice as well?
Yeah. So for us right now, most of my kids are younger. So I have a 21-year-old. She lives in Arizona.
Okay.
And then here she's going to school out there. And then here in Kentucky, I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, an 18-month-old,
Wow.
and one on the way. So my oldest in the house is 10. That makes things a little bit different. The dynamics are a little bit different. She needs dedicated time. I give her that. So she likes to play golf. And so in the morning, my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old, we get up, they get up early, and at 7:15, we go like run for 20 minutes. Then I spend 20 minutes playing golf with her, practicing her golf while Joel's practicing baseball. And then I'll spend 20 minutes with Joel on baseball while she's practicing golf. So basically, we spend an hour together, just the 3 of us. But within that hour, there's 20 minutes dedicated to just me and Joel, 20 minutes dedicated to just me and Savannah.
Okay.
The younger ones, we typically spend some time together alone, like at night. So they each have their own rooms. So I'll go into Willow's room and spend 20 minutes in there with Willow. She likes art. She's my 6-year-old. So she likes art and she likes to ask lots of questions and things like that. So I'll spend 20 minutes with her. Meredith, my 4-year-old, she don't need but 5 minutes. She's Miss Independent. She's like
low
don't
maintenance, huh?
She's low maintenance, bro. She's all on her own. She's just a unique child. So I'll go in there, her and I'll play, tickle her, whatever, and then she'll be like, all right, like,
all right, have my dad fix. Keep it moving.
So go. So each one of them needs something a little bit different. And that's the thing. When we try to, there is no blanket solution for all children because they're all humans and they're individuals.
Right.
So you got to find what really connects you to that individual child and make sure you focus on that investment in them.
Yeah, I love that. And I hope that some parents really grasp that concept in terms of that individualization, customizing that time that you spend with your child. And it doesn't have to be hours or whatever. Have something grandiose like 20 minutes and really that laser focus, phones away, just, hey, what are they interested in? And as you mentioned, I think a lot of times parents may think of, I want to plan this big trip or do something just so big that may not even be something that the child is interested in. It's just more so the parents' vision of what's going to be fun. Like, yeah.
And how often does that not happen?
Exactly. Yeah. Something
because
comes up.
It's hard. It's hard to coordinate. It's hard to coordinate a week out of work or out of focus time or out of the world. Like, it's hard, man. We all get busy. We're all doing stuff.
Right.
But you can find 20 minutes.
Definitely.
I know you can find 20 minutes every day. I know you can.
That's one TV show. You can, that's
it. That's it.
Indeed. Now, also something you mentioned, I think it really caught my attention in terms of your kids being early risers. Is that something you kind of conditioned them to do that because you get up early, or how are you able to do that? Because a lot of teens like to sleep in. They like to sleep all day. So how can parents help their kids rise earlier?
I guess it really depends on when you start to plant that seed, right? So my 21-year-old, she goes to bed about 4 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
Gets up at like noon, right? That's her world. But I'm a firm believer that the way that we start our day is crucial. So I teach my kids that are in the house, there's five simple steps to an extraordinary life. I wrote a small little book about it. It's like a 45-minute read. Anybody that's listening, you're welcome to go to the morning and then the number 5.com and you can download it for free. It's a free ebook. the 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. And so within those 5 steps, the first one is not to hit the snooze button. The second one is to stay off your phone first thing in the morning. The third one is gratitude and goals. It sounds like 2 steps, but it's really 1.
Okay.
Write down everything that you're thankful for, and then write down your goals. A lot of people will tell you to write goals, but if you write goals from a place of lack, it can actually be a very negative thing.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we're writing our goals from a place of gratitude and abundance. I'm thankful for all I have in my life. I'm still going to reach for more. That's different than I hate where I am in my life. I need to reach for more. Right?
Big difference. Yeah.
Big difference in energy. So the step 3 is gratitude and goals. Step 4 is take care of the physical. Do something, just get your body moving, whether it's walking, whatever, running, weightlifting, whatever works for you. And then step 5 is probably the most crucial step of the whole thing, which is to send out an encouraging message. So once you get done these first 4 steps, you're vibrating at such a frequency, your energy is so positive that you now have a responsibility to release that out into the universe. We release that by lifting or impacting somebody else. So whether it's sending out a text message, sending, telling your spouse that you love them, that you care about them, or that they look great. Maybe it's a coworker, nice blouse, whatever, right? So those 5 simple steps I've tried to instill in my kids as they grow up. Like, when you say you're going to wake up, that's when you need to wake up.
Right.
And we don't need to wake up and jump into television or phones or any devices, which my kids don't have any other devices but TV. But we don't need to jump into that world. We need to take control of our world first, right? Gratitude, goals, physical. So the things that I'm doing with them in the morning, see, I want to encourage that behavior. So I've carved out in my schedule, I've carved out that hour in the morning. So they now know, hey, if I get up early and do these things that Dad's talking about, I can spend time with Dad, like alone time in the morning.
Yeah. Prime
And
time.
and that excites them, right?
Yeah.
That motivates them to be able to get that individual time. And so basically they have a choice. I don't force them to get up early and do those things. However, there's a reward if they do of time with their dad, which is something that they want. You know what I mean? So it's just a combination of values that I want them to grow up with and instilling it in a way that they want to do it. They don't have to do it.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. So how has your life changed since you started implementing these 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life?
Oh my gosh, dude. It's everything, man. I am a student, and as I started, I have 2 seasons in my life. So pre 30 years old was a season that included chasing girls, homelessness, jail. It was just a rough decade for me, really rough decade from 20 to 30.
Okay.
And then I have the season that I'm in now. And a big part of the difference was I started to study to develop my own mind. I started to study and like, okay, my life is chaos. These people got it together. What can I learn from these people that got it together? And as I started studying more and more successful people, all of the successful people in history that you can, the Napoleon Hills and the all of them, the Carnegies and all these guys. As you start to study anybody who's highly successful, you almost 100% of the time find that they have a solid morning routine, something that they do every day that helps them reset their mind, that helps them clear out any cobwebs, and helps them get laser focused, every single one of them. So I was like, okay, this guy does this, this guy does this, this guy does this. And I just started putting it together and ultimately came out with those 5 simple steps. So once I started applying those in my life every single day, I mean, the transformation is nearly instant. Within 90 days, you're a different human. Then
Yeah.
your brain works different. It fires different. Your energy is different. The way people react to you is different. Everything is different. If you would take an hour a day in the morning to do those 5 simple steps.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, bro.
Yeah. And like I said, it really is. Once you break it down, it's 5 simple steps. But the challenge is to be consistent with it and make that choice. And then
That's it.
It doesn't take years to see the results. You start seeing the results pretty quickly. And like you, I'm a student definitely of self-development and just studying the people who have achieved great success, because we know success leaves clues. And
No
like
doubt.
you mentioned, it definitely usually have a morning routine, and whether it's meditation, working out, just something where it's not it's automatically just jumping on your phone or turning on the news and just consuming that negativity. That's very true. And what I love,
something I like to clarify too is it really doesn't matter what time you wake up. A lot of people think, well, I'm not a morning person, or I don't want to wake up early, blah, blah, blah. It's not about what time. It's about what you do with the first hour of your day. So if the first hour of your day is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then do it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Whatever time your lifestyle, right? Like some people, their lifestyle, you got some DJs out there that work, $100 million.
right.
Their lifestyle exists from 11 at night till 6 in the morning. That's when they work.
Exactly.
So if they sleep till 2 in the afternoon, then they sleep till 2 in the afternoon. So it's all about what you do with the first hour, not when you do it.
Yeah, that's very important clarification. I'm glad you said that. It's true. Me personally, I like getting up early. It's the military in me, but I like starting the morning off right. But yes, important distinction. Like I said, not everyone's on the same time schedule. As you mentioned, the 2 seasons in your life. I know for parents listening, ideally they want to try to help their kids avoid that turbulent, that rough season. Do you have some suggestions as far as where parents can use kind of help their teens maybe start adopting some of these principles early on, maybe get them excited about maybe studying people who have achieved great success and adopting some things they've done?
The biggest change from the early me and the now me, self-development and all of that was a part of it. But ultimately, I used to live a 2D lifestyle. So I was living a lifestyle that was based on mind and body, 2 dimensions. If it looked good, if it felt good, if it sounded good, I was down. That was it, right?
Okay.
Mentally, I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do it. Physically, yeah, that feels great. Let's do it. I was living a 2D, very Darwinistic approach. I didn't believe in God. And I really didn't have any integrity, no morals, no real moral compass. It was just me against you. And it was all about the flesh, mind and body. It wasn't until I was able to develop and understand through self-development that we are spiritual beings. 3D. There's 3 dimensions, not 2. It wasn't until I started to understand that 3rd dimension that's when I was able to shift my life. That's when I started to have a moral compass. I started to make decisions that were going to impact others in a positive way instead of a negative way. And when I started changing how I treated others, then that my entire life transformed, completely transformed. And so I would suggest to parents of teenagers, allow them to explore the 3rd dimension. A lot of parents, so for me, I am a Christian. I use the Bible and a Christian church to help tap into my spirituality.
Okay.
At the same time, I had to travel and experience and learn a lot of different ideas of spirituality before I was able to connect in the way that I'm connected now. So I studied Buddhism, I studied Scientology, I studied, all the different things, right? Just trying to get an understanding of what spirituality really means. Now, for me, my channel is through the Holy Bible and through Jesus and through the Christian church. But that's my channel that works for me. I do not and will not ever put the God of the universe in a box. And so I believe that the God of the universe will use whatever channels he feels like he needs or wants to use in order to help people connect to their higher self. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a teenager, don't try to, or as a parent of a teenager, do not try to force your children into a box. Don't try to force them into a specific square or peg that works for you. Share those experiences with them. You have whatever your third dimension looks like, share it, but do not use it to impress upon. Does that make sense? Share it and guide them, but do not force them. Allow them to explore it. Because what ends up happening is a lot of teenagers, they end up rebelling against this third dimension, right? Especially in today's society. No, God's not real. That's a bunch of BS. The Bible's messed up. They're looking stuff up on Google. That ain't real. That's look at this. Jesus is black. He's supposed to be white. This is all messed up. So what they're doing is they're finding contradictory information online to what you're telling them. The rebellious nature then causes them to defect all the way to the other side, which means no moral compass, no moral high ground, no understanding of the third dimension. And without that understanding, they are most likely to travel down a path where they will not find fulfillment and joy in their life. That leads to things like anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. All of those things can go from there. So that would be, one of my biggest suggestions, is allow them to explore their spirituality and land on it in a universal way, and just be there as a buffer and a guide and catch them at the times that they fall.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. And it's something I can relate to personally in my late teens, early 20s. Yeah, kind of going through that rebellion phase. And like I said, looking for contradictions and looking at it more from a logical standpoint. And like, this doesn't make sense. It's not the evidence is not there. So yeah, it's my way of rebelling. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense what you laid out. Just that exposure, and like you mentioned, the God of the universe is going to guide them to a way to channel their spirituality. Like it a lot. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Deep brother. Awesome. You live and learn. So like definitely learn to experience.
That's a fact.
So Glenn, before I let you go, I know I want to cover a little bit about automotive experience. Over 20 years working in the auto industry.
Yeah, I started when I was 20. So I'm 42 now. Been in the industry 22 years. The auto industry it's a special world, man, where you can literally create whatever you want to create, man. It's there's no barriers to entry in the auto industry. You don't have to have a college degree.
Right.
A lot of times, you don't have to have a super clean background. I mean, I got into the auto industry after, been to jail multiple times, and was able to get in and get with a good group and a good organization. And I've been able to climb, and I've had a lot of success, and I've seen many people
the
auto industry transformed. Yeah, a lot have their lives transformed by this incredible industry. So I love it. I love the auto industry. I love the people of the auto industry. I'm a huge advocate for it. And part of my mission in life is to eradicate the negative stigmas associated with the car business, man, because it's not what it seems on the surface. It's gotten a bad rep over the years, but it really is an amazing catalyst for success for those that are willing to dive in, do things the right way, and put in the work.
Wow. Yeah, that's you bring up a good point in terms of maybe that negative stigma and stereotypes about salesmen. And I know, do you have a lot of people where they just kind of shy away from sales? Like, I'm not a salesperson. What would you say, especially to teens who may be considering a career in the automotive industry?
Sales, everything's a sale.
Right.
If you don't know how to sell, If you don't know how to sell, then you will spend the rest of your life working for someone who does. Simple as that. Selling is the ticket to financial freedom. And in order to be able to create and develop a legacy, whether that's selling your girlfriend on becoming your wife, whether that's selling your husband on having a kid, whether that's selling an employer to give you a job, whether it's selling your kid on why he can't have a cookie, everything in life is sales. So the better understanding you have of it, if you look across the millionaires of the world, which to be honest with you, being a millionaire is not even really a big deal anymore.
No.
Used to be a big deal. Now you got
millionaires.
Like there's only 1,147 billionaires in the world, but there's now hundreds of thousands of millionaires. It's not as big of a deal as it used to be.
Right.
But if you look across the board, they're all in sales, man. Sales is the golden ticket.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. So whether it's car sales, real estate sales, or marketing sales, digital sales, being on the sales side, you can create the life of your dreams.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
And as a teenager, you could sell your parents on like a later curfew if you need to.
Yeah.
It's like study the skills, man. Study the skills.
Teens are natural salesmen and saleswomen. They have to channel that into a way that it's actually going to allow them to build the life of their dreams. Certainly.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm big on just opening up just teens' eyes and letting them see different opportunities, not just saying, okay, you have to go one path to be successful. You have to just go to college or do X, Y, Z. There's just so many opportunities, as you said, if you're willing to do the work and really learn whatever career field you're in, and you can be successful no matter which route you go. So you're a shining example of that, and you have a really inspirational story. And I see why you are as successful as you are. And the going back to what you said about the 3D, just having that moral compass and really thinking about how you're impacting other people. I think that really is the key. That's the game changer.
That is the game changer, no doubt.
Indeed. Well, Glenn, giving us a lot of great strategies, tips, and resources. I really appreciate it. As we get ready to wrap up this interview, you have any closing words of advice you want to leave the parents with?
I appreciate you sharing this space and this time with me. It's always such an honor, to just be heard. And when I spent some time homeless, a lot of people think what sucks about homelessness is you're broke. You ain't got no food. You ain't got nowhere to live. But to be honest with you, the worst part about homelessness is that you become invisible. People don't make eye contact with you. You start to blend in with the surroundings. And so now that I get to share platforms and connect with people and have my voice be heard, I'm so grateful for it. And so the lesson that I've learned that I use with my children, and I suggest parents share with theirs, is make sure your kids don't ever feel invisible. Make sure that they feel seen and valued and heard. That's it.
Drop the mic right there. That's great advice, certainly. Well, Glenn, how can listeners get in contact with you? And certainly, how can we watch your show?
Yeah, man. So if you go to glennlundy.com, that will link you to my show. It'll link you to my Facebook page, my Instagram, all of that stuff. So you just go to glennlundy.com and then you can choose whatever path works best for you to connect from there.
Fantastic. Well, again, appreciate it. And continue sharing your voice. Looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thanks, my man. I really appreciate you.
You've been listening to Mentor Select. Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Hosted by Darrich Phillips. Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. We get it. That's why Dare Rich interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. That's why we do the show. Be sure to share Mentor Select with other parents of teens. Follow us on social media at Mentor Select to stay up to date on the latest tips, strategies, and resources for parenting teens. Send your questions and comments to darerich@mentorselect.com. Tune in every Wednesday for new episodes. Till next time, this is Mentor Select.